Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome to the family. My name is Dina. I am so happy to have you here. Today we are talking about tips and tricks for successful spellcasting. If you are a beginner witch and you're looking for advice on how to get more success out of your spells, or maybe you're more experienced but you're just interested to hear what my opinions and my experiences are, then this video is for you. Obviously there's so many different tips and tricks out there. Everyone's experience is going to be different, so take what you want, leave the rest. These are my personal opinions and experiences with spellcasting and basically how I get the most out of my spells and get the most success rate out of my spells. In my personal experience, the number one biggest part of successful spellcasting is having confidence in yourself and confidence in your spell. There is literally no bigger spell killer or success killer than not believing that your spell will work. So how do you gain confidence? Well, there's a few different things you can do. One of the biggest one for me is learning to trust my intuition. Once you learn to trust your intuition, connect to your higher self, connect to your spirit guides, I find your confidence level definitely increases. It's very much connected, and there's so many different ways that you can get more in tune to your intuition. Everybody's going to be different. But one of the biggest things that you can do for yourself is just listen to yourself. Listen to that little voice. Listen to your gut. If something feels right, then it's probably right. And that is the most important thing. Not what someone else tells you. What you believe inside of yourself is going to be the strongest voice of advice. Another thing you can do is take some walks in nature. I find that connecting to the magic of the natural world is actually extremely powerful. And I just find I'm so much more in tune to my intuitive self when I'm around the natural world than when I spent all my time staring at screens and lost in this, really in this 3D world. And there's nothing wrong with being in this 3D physical realm. That's what we're here for. We're having a human experience. But when you get so caught up with the everyday things that aren't important, like social media and oh, what do I look like online and all these other more shallow things that we experience in this human life, when you're so caught up in that all the time and you're not connected to the natural world, it affects your intuition in many different ways. But there's so many other ways to strengthen your intuition. Eating healthy is one of them. It's hard to really get connected to that intuition if you're feeding your body really bad food. Another big one with confidence, and this is for honestly anything, any sort of skill that you are trying to develop in any sort of field. It doesn't have to be magic. One of the biggest things to increase your confidence is repetition. The more you do something, the more confident you become. So the more spells that you do and the more success that you have with your spells, the more confidence you're going to become with yourself. So jump in, try a simple spell, because in the end this is going to really help to build that confidence. So yeah, really believing in yourself is the number one I find with spell work. If I don't think something's going to work, it's not going to work. Spell work is partially energy. A big part of it is energy, obviously, and intention. And honestly, I strongly believe another part of it is placebo effect. And the science has proven how strong the placebo effect is. If you believe something's going to work, if you believe a pill that's not real medicine is medicine and is going to help you, it's most likely going to help you more than nothing. That is the power of the mind. So if the mind is that powerful with medicine in a scientific study, think about how powerful it's going to be with your energy and the things that are happening to you. So that's why it's so important to really master your mind in that way and believe in yourself. My next tip, and this has been so helpful for me in my personal practice, it may not be for everyone. I find, strengthening my visualization abilities has done me wonders for my witchcraft practice. Being able to really visualize energy and visualize where it's coming from and how it flows and what color it is and what I feel from that, and all of that, being really in tune basically to all of these senses and being able to really dive into that has been extremely helpful. Sorry, I feel like I'm gonna hiccup. Has been extremely helpful in my practice. I highly recommend, guys, if you have not read this book or not picked up this book before, and I have talked about it in a previous book video, but pick up the book Psychic Witch. If you are looking for a way to get stronger at visualization and stronger at your intuitive and psychic skills, which are very, very helpful with magic, I highly recommend this book. It is amazing. It has so many different exercises, so many different meditations, visualizations. It teaches you how to move energy, feel energy, and also just becoming more in tune to your senses is going to help you with visualization. And you can do this exercise anywhere. You can do it inside, you can do it outside. I love doing it outside. But what you can do is you can go for a walk and then you can close your eyes for a few moments. And what you're gonna do is try to like test yourself. So try and visualize your surroundings. Is there a tree there? How tall is it? What does it look like? What are the colors of the leaves? How is it moving in the wind? Also, like, what do you hear? Like, do you hear the birds? Do you hear the cars? Do you hear the wind? Do you hear the rustling of the leaves? Really take in all that information. And all that stuff too is in this book as well. But doing that kind of exercise to try and visualize your surroundings when your eyes are closed is going to be very helpful for teaching you how to visualize. And it's just such an amazing tool for your practice. So I do highly recommend really working on this and strengthening that muscle. My next tip is very important and is also going to help with your confidence is to research. Read a lot. Like, don't stop reading, guys. At no point do you ever stop learning in witchcraft. You don't become a master spellcaster and then suddenly you don't have to learn anything again. That's not how it works. There's just so much information out there. There's so many opinions there, which is exciting. It's overwhelming sometimes, but it's really, really exciting. And I find what has helped me is just reading. Some of it you're going to resonate with. Some of it you're going to connect with and be like, wow, that is a really cool idea. I'm going to try that out and it's going to work for you. Maybe it doesn't work for you. There's some things that you're going to read that you don't resonate with. People have different opinions. People have different experiences. People around the world have different cultural influences, which also affect their magic. I highly recommend, honestly, just reading as much as you can. This is really going to help you build your foundation of beliefs, your foundation of preferences. All of that is going to be personal to you in your practice. Don't ever feel like you have to practice exactly like somebody else. And that honestly goes for my videos too. Like when I post my spell videos, it is a guideline for you guys. I am sharing my personal spell, my personal practice. It works for me, but it might not work for you. Maybe you like part of it, but maybe you want to tweak something a little bit. That is 100% fine because your practice is meant to be personal. Learning about other practices is extremely helpful, but again, use it to basically learn about yourself and figure out your own practice. There's a lot of fun videos online where you're like, oh, what type of witch are you? And I think these are fun and lighthearted, but a lot of us are honestly just a combination of a lot of these things. And I think it's important to not box yourself in, especially right away. If you've been practicing for a long time and you find you're definitely very connected to this one specific type of magic or two specific types of magic and you want to categorize yourself, by all means. But when you're just starting off, I think it's really important to experiment and explore and try different types of magics and don't feel like you only can do, green witch magic because you're like, oh, well, I like nature, so I guess I can only practice green witch magic. Like, no, try all different types of things. Practice whatever you feel the most connected to, whatever makes you feel excited. And this is going to make a big deal in the success of your spells because if you enjoy the practice, it's more likely to be successful. If you don't enjoy the practice, then it's not going to. If you find it stressful or confusing, the spell's probably not going to be as successful as if you were like, oh, this feels right, this feels natural to me, then the spell is going to work for you. So I think that is very important. My next tip for you guys is to put your mental health first. This is a big one, and I've seen from my experience that if I am in a bad place, my spells probably aren't going to be as successful because my energy is not there. So whenever you're in a bad place, whether you are depressed, whether you're anxious, stressed, whatever may be happening, make sure you're taking time to take care of yourself first before trying to attempt a money spell or something like that. Now, there is self-care magic, and I think that can be very useful. Like, for example, if you have the energy to make yourself a nice tea and stir in your intention, then that is an amazing, easy way to take care of yourself. If you have time to get a bath going, to put in some Epsom salts, some rose petals, create a self-love bath for yourself that will help you feel better, that is amazing. Self-love magic can be very helpful when you're going through a rough patch. But don't try to cast a money spell. Don't try to cast a protection spell or something really intense that's not self-love or self-care related when you're feeling bad, because your energy is not going to be at its best. The spell most likely is not going to be successful. You're most likely just going to drain yourself more when you need to be taking care of your energy and filling up your energy. You don't need to be depleting yourself more. And the same goes for like tarot and stuff. Like if you're reading for other people and someone wants a reading and you're feeling really bad, then it's probably a good idea to reschedule that and do it on a day where your energy is feeling its best, because one, you're probably not going to give the best reading, and also you're a lot more susceptible and vulnerable to negative energy. You know, when you work with other people, you pick up on their energy. It's very important to cleanse yourself, but if you're in a bad place, you're in a lot more vulnerable place, and that can actually really negatively affect your energy. And the same should honestly go for your witchcraft practice. Again, everyone's practice is personal to them, so if you don't fully agree with me, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but I highly recommend that you protect your energy and save your energy when you're in a low spot instead of expending it all in a spell or ritual if it's not self-care related. I have one more tip for you guys. If I think of anything else in the future, then I will make a part 2 for you, but my final tip is to practice somewhere where you feel comfortable. I think this is so important, and not just comfortable but safe. If you're practicing in an environment where you don't feel comfortable, whether it is a really dirty space, or maybe you feel like you don't have privacy. All these different factors are going to affect the success of your spell. If you are not fully focused and comfortable, then the energy is not going to be the same. It's the same as being distracted. Whenever I do a spell, I personally put my phone on Do Not Disturb. If my phone goes off and it distracts me and I have to step away and answer my phone or text somebody or something like that, my energy, my full focus is not on the spell, it's on my phone. And I find that if my attention is diverted like that, the spell isn't as successful. You need to be focused. You have to know that, like, you know, this is my time. I need to be present and focus on this task. If you need to schedule your spell casting when no one else is home, or if you need to clean up your space first so the energy is right in your room, that is important. Pay attention to these kind of details because they definitely have an effect on the quality and the efficacy and the success of your spell. So definitely pay attention to those. Anyways, guys, that is all for today. I'm actually gonna be doing another video about spellcasting for you guys that you might be interested in, and it's about doing things wrong, quote unquote wrong. I want to share my opinion on people who tell you that you did something wrong, that you should do it this way or do it their way. And yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that whole idea. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. That video should be up in the next week or so, hopefully. And yeah, I just thought that all this information would be helpful for you, especially to a beginner witch. So if you did find it helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It really helps out my channel. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys, because I put up new content every single week and you guys wouldn't want to miss out on it. If you're interested in more spell videos, whether it is advice or actual spells where I teach you different spells and rituals, then make sure you guys check out my grimoire playlist. That's where I keep all of those types of videos. And I also have a whole bunch of other spiritual type content that you may love, so make sure you check it out. There's so much out there for you guys to binge watch if you are new to the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you again for all your love and support. You guys are amazing. I honestly appreciate everything you do. It means the world to me. I love creating content and I love talking with you guys. It makes me so happy. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.